I'm Blue Bailey.
And I'm Dextra de Novo, and this is Reading is Fundamental.
The show where we talk about news in entertainment law.
Yes, that leather daddy.
And that drag queen.
Are both licensed California attorneys.
We celebrate queerness,
sex positivity,
and reading bitches for filth.
And with that being said,
the library is now open.
Officially.
The library is open.
Because reading is what? Fundamental.
Fundamental.
The information on this podcast is for general information purposes only. Nothing in this podcast should be taken as legal advice for any individual, case, or situation. This information is not intended to create an attorney-client relationship. Sorry about it.
What?
Fundamental.
Hi, I'm Blue Bailey.
And I'm Dextra de Novo. Welcome back to the Reading is Fundamental podcast.
How's it going, Dextra?
It's been going. It's been a lot happening.
I know, you've been super busy.
I've been very, very busy. I just premiered at Princess for the first time.
What's Princess?
Princess is a big, I think it's like a dance drag. I don't know how they promote it.
I think
but
it's disco.
Disco drag event. It's every Saturday at Oasis. It's like the drag bar in San Francisco. I didn't realize how important it is, I guess, to have like Oasis, because it's like the more I've been traveling around, I'm like, oh my gosh, nobody really has kind of like a drag bar.
I was actually just talking about this with Sean. Like, I love that you can go to the Oasis, and the point of going to Oasis is to see a drag show.
Yes.
And dancing and clubbing is secondary to that.
Yes.
Whereas most other places, like going to Piranha in Las Vegas, you have to put up with the dancing club part of it to get a drag show.
And then they have these like pop-up drag shows now, which are just bullshit.
And
I hate these pop-up drag shows. But like Oasis has drag events all the time, and there's the biggest party that happens on every Saturday night. It's called Princess, and they use it, usually to bring like some kind of like famous drag performer in as the headliner, and sometimes they
So how did you end up there?
Yeah, I don't know either.
You were there for your favorite diva,
God,
Kylie Minogue.
So they booked me, and they're like, "It's Kylie Minogue night," and I was like, "Fuck!" Like,
you didn't know any Kylie.
I was like,
Minogue
of all,
songs.
no, I know Kylie. They're just not good. We fight about this all the time.
It's a bad take.
We find this all the time. Is that I just don't. Kylie just doesn't vibe with me. I mean, she's good and she's poppy and she's good for a little tea dance kind of like thing. But like, I'm not about to put Kylie on just to like have a good time.
I will give you the benefit of the doubt that I finally made it through her last album, and it's kind of boring.
Yeah. Like,
it's got a couple good songs,
like
but I was no.
I literally went through the whole catalog to find something I wanted,
That's
and then
a bad
I was
take.
like,
It's a bad
and then
take.
I was like, did nobody choose Padam? And I was like, I guess I'm doing Padam then.
Well, you wanted to do Come Dump.
I did, and I couldn't get it.
I don't get how you couldn't get it.
I tried to do it off of like you could do a YouTube to an MP3.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't let me do it. It's like, this video is private and won't let you like turn it to MP3. I was like, fuck.
Oh, well, good for Manila protecting her rights. Come on, take down notices. It's funny, I didn't actually go to your show.
Yeah, I'm aware.
In town seeing Lady Gaga. But I saw Manila the same exact night of your show perform Come Dump, Come Dump.
Wow.
It was amazing. It was everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I was there.
We put it together pretty much within a week, but I made this fucking sickening bodysuit, bitch.
Yeah, and you got Ifan and you got Harley to dance with you.
Yes,
from
my
Bologna.
two wonderful backup dancers who are Bologna Boys. Again, another event that happens at Oasis. Bologna, it's just like a wonderful all-gay male review, something that doesn't happen
these
in other
backup
places.
dancers can get you backstage.
Yes.
Yes.
They're really, really
great.
great.
They're not lower than security guards.
Ifan and Eddie, shout out to you. You're amazing. Love doing it. But tell us why you were not at my
I was not at your premiere at Oasis because I was seeing Lady Gaga in Las Vegas. She's my diva. And I'm very happy that Sean bought these tickets months ago because I'm very broke right now. And I was able to go and stay at my mom's house and eat with my family for free.
Yeah. So it's like your cost is the ticket and...
No, I'm still paying John back for the ticket.
Oh, God. Okay, well, the eventual cost that you will pay back is the ticket and the flight.
But we were second row, and for like the first 4 songs, the people in front of us did not show up. So she like walks directly in front of us, and she was singing to me.
Of course. Just like fucking Kelly Clarkson sang the song that you wanted because you tweeted at her, right?
Amazing.
Oh, God.
Then the best part is that she said she's coming back. And
She's like, for you, Stefan.
For me, no. But I guess she has like a 75 or 80 show contract, and she's breaking it up into 10 to 15 shows at a time.
In Vegas?
In Vegas, yeah. So she'll be back next year with like a set of songs. And she says it's going to be brand new. She's like, come check out the show next year. It's going to be a whole new show.
You did send me videos, and I was like, damn, you really are in the second row.
Yeah.
And I, like, you know, you zoom in or whatever, and it's like, wow, you can, like, see it really, really great. And it did, I mean, it looked amazing. And it's like, she's just such a consummate performer. Like, you can't go wrong. She's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm not a huge jazz fan.
Oh, I love jazz.
But I love just Lady Gaga sitting down at the piano and singing, and she would be like, oh my God, I'm going to play you a Cole Porter song. And I smiled and nodded. And
you're like, yeah,
I love Cole Porter. And
you're like, we love her.
It honestly didn't matter if I knew the song or not. She made it
of course
amazing and brilliant.
Of course.
So who is Cole Porter, by the way?
That's a good question. I think we might have pissed off some people just then.
What season is she on?
It's like Cheryl Cole. We don't even know.
Cheryl Hole. Porter.
I didn't even know that who Cheryl Cole was when Cheryl Hole came on. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm named after Cheryl Cole. And I was like, who the fuck is Cheryl Cole? But it's because she's British.
Is she like a Spice Girl or something? Or like a girl group?
Yes, she's a girl
Girls
group.
Aloud, Little Mix.
Yes, one of those.
3LW.
Is 3LW British too?
No.
Okay, I don't know. It's one of the girl groups. NSYNC is coming back.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what?
You are very much a Backstreet Boys.
No, I was very much an NSYNC fan.
Oh, okay.
And I'm very happy to see Justin Timberlake humbled. Like, he should never be allowed to go solo again after the bullshit he pulled with Britney and Janet.
Oh.
Put him in sync and put him in the back. Let Lance shine this time. And AJ?
Look, this time we're saying bye, bye, bye.
Yes.
That's the only pun I could think of. I was excited. I like NSYNC. I'm just happy to see them continuing this amazing career that they've had.
I saw, it wasn't Backstreet Boys. It was another boy band that also was trying to make.
Oh, 98 Degrees.
Yes.
They're coming back too, girl.
But
we're coming back. We're like, who, bitch?
They announced their comeback, I think, the same time
Yes.
that NSYNC did their appearance,
Yes.
and nobody talked about it.
Yeah, it was like poor Nick Lachey. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's really trying here, but
Is that the one? Is that the group with the Methy one? Who's all crazy now in Las Vegas? Oh, he died recently.
Ooh.
No, that was.
Okay. Who are we talking?
There was oh my God, I think it was the lead singer Backstreet.
Okay, hold
Boys,
on. Before
maybe?
you even say that, allegedly.
No, he like I don't think it's even a.
No, we need to say
Is it Aaron Carter?
Oh, that's one of the Carter. Yes.
Yes, one of the Carters.
Yes. He did die of an overdose. I think it was Aaron Carter who died of an
Yes.
overdose. Allegedly. We don't
Allegedly,
know. Don't want
we
to say
don't
it.
know.
Please don't
No
sue us.
relation to Beyonce.
Please
Carter.
don't sue us. Please don't sue us.
All right, so shall we get into our mini and our maxi
Let's
for the
get
week?
into our mini, but first I want to introduce our guest that we have for today. So excited. Well, I'll ask afterward, but I have a wonderful introduction for our guest. He is the husband of the large and in charge, chunky yet funky, bold, and the beautiful Miss Latrice Royale, and he works with her to manage all of the litany of events and businesses that is the Latrice Royale universe. She said, make them eat it, and he did. It's Christopher Hamblin. Yes!
Hey, girl, hey.
That's me. Hey, girl. Yeah, I have never heard "Get Those Nuts Away from My Face." That's not something-
I did not include that one. I was like, how many can I? And I was like, no, you can't be
Not
egregious.
familiar with that one.
I'm like, you can't be egregious.
I don't think you would say that either.
And my special take was, she said make him eat it, and then you did. That's
Yeah, and I really appreciate it because Anne did.
Yes.
Anne did.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Are you kidding me? Thank you for having me. It's so nice. I've been cheering y'all on from afar for a while, so it's so nice to get to chat with you.
Yes,
Yeah, we're excited to have you.
Join in if you want. We're talking today as a mini topic about Fenton Bailey and Randon Barbato, who are the two kind of founders of World of Wonder. They're being honored by The Hollywood Reporter with an award because of all the work that they've done for the LGBT community. So what are you thinking about this, Stefan?
Well, I think you said fentanyl at first. Fentanyl Bailey could be a fun drag name. No,
That is a really good drag name.
Girl.
I'm obsessed with Drag Race, in large in part to
Yes.
you. For a minute, like didn't get into it because I'm like, RuPaul is kind of just exploiting our community, and this is a money grab. And then I actually sat down and watched it, and yes, like capitalism, she is making money off of it, but I love that it bakes in therapy, it bakes in RuPaul's sobriety into things. Like Sean and I are watching season 11 right now. And I think
is it the Inner Saboteur one? No, that's season 10 when they had to do like the
but she's like talking to Raja about being vulnerable, and she's just like, feelings aren't facts. And I forget what the other one was, but it's like all this shit that you hear in like 12-step meetings and stuff like that. So I love the message behind it. I love that it's becoming international. I love that it's normalizing queer people and queer concepts for people. And it's basically like my own Duolingo, because now I watch like Mexico and I watch it in Spanish, or France and I watch it in French.
I think the one thing that they were being honored for is because of their representation of the queer community and bringing it to the forefront. And they've been known to do that for a long, long time. So it's like they were getting kind of shushed when they were in film school together about like, why are you doing all these topics about queer people? And, like nobody really wanted to take any interest of it or wasn't taking it seriously. But they decided to do it anyway. So even back in the day, they made like Party Monster, the movie.
I had no idea they made Party Monster.
Yeah.
And what was the documentary about the Christian lady?
Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Yes.
Yeah, you were talking to the right one today.
Yes.
I've been stalking World of Wonder and Randy and Fenton since about 2001.
Really?
There was a little gay bookstore in Nashville, Tennessee called Out Loud Books.
Like a real bookstore, or like a bookstore?
A little bit of both, but really like focus, like more of a Borders than what.
For the listeners, he was miming.
Girl,
the
you haven't seen the
blowjob.
Borders I've been to.
Right. I know you have crossed a few borders. Yeah, Randy and Fenton. I saw Party Monster, the shockumentary, before there was a Macaulay Culkin movie. And
I didn't know that.
The Eyes of Tammy Faye before there was a Jessica Chastain movie. And they really did have a huge influence on me as a queer person early on, way before there was RuPaul's Drag Race where I met my husband or anything. So yeah, in terms of visibility and telling our stories, I think that they absolutely have told my story. RuPaul's Drag Race, I came up in the clubs and backstage with drag queens. They were the only people that were nice to me and that I fit in with. So
now they're not nice.
Even more than
drag queens who are nice? What are you talking about?
Well, like sometimes you can tell when misfits get along,
Yes.
So I was a little bit of a misfit, and that's where I found my tribe. And I didn't see that really represented on TV until RuPaul's Drag Race. So I think Randy and Fenton really have, pioneered that in so many ways, our storytelling.
They really have. I mean, this is like, we have to hold multiple things at once. I think the thing that I want to talk about eventually is kind of like the representation that we get on Drag Race, but I was thinking about it and I'm like, maybe they're not like the people to blame for this. It's like they really are trying to like do the best that they can and do all that kind of stuff. But like I said, they started doing all this queer content and not a lot of things were happening for them. And then they really, stuck to their guns and were like, let's do Drag Race and like, let's make this happen. Obviously, it's grown into a cultural phenomenon. It's like now all over the world. We have 85 franchises all over the place. So they really have made quite a difference, especially for young queer people to be able to see that. It's made a difference for me. Like, I never thought I was going to do drag and be into it and everything like that, or that I would find a partner that was okay with drag. Like, even 10 years ago, it was like, oh, you're dating a drag queen? Like, ew, and like, whatever. So I think it is really great. The one thing there are two of the things I want to talk about was, one is like, well, with all this amazing exposure comes with lots of backlash. So it's like we see all these anti-drag bills, all these anti-trans bills, that type of thing. So kind of wanted to see what you were thinking about that. Like, do you think that this cultural phenomenon that they have created is also something that is bringing all this hate towards the LGBT community? Yeah,
I think because it's, again, like normalizing queer culture and bringing it to a larger audience, that there is kind of this reaction to it. And I think that's where a lot of these bills are coming from. Not Drag Race specifically, but I think Drag Race is a mechanism for our culture being out there so much. But yeah, I feel like there's been many times where just something becomes like more popular or more normal, and there's a backlash to it. But eventually, well, it used to be eventually we would always overcome. But with the Supreme Court, I'm not so sure anymore.
Girl, I don't even know. And like everybody's like, who is it? One of the justices are like, he's actually being more of a moderate. I was like, this is not. We can't. Like, I can't. Anyway. But I'm assuming you've probably met them, yes,
The
Chris?
Supreme Court?
I have been
Randy and
privileged to meet Randy and Fenton a few times. They recognize me if I walk in a room now. Every now and again, Rue will kind of recognize me as well. But obviously, you know,
Latrice walks in. He's like, okay, cool.
Rue meets a lot of people.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
really expect
Girl,
to
he didn't
be
even remember
her.
Jinx's name.
Accurate.
This one over
Yeah,
here.
I've met them. They've been very kind. Obviously, you know, Latrice plays very well with World of Wonder, and she's become such a like you really can't remove her from the franchise. You know, when we meet girls that have been on the show in the last few years, it's become really apparent to me, like, you know, we are auntie and daddy or uncle or whoever.
Yeah.
Like
You're embedded.
You know, have been at this for 10 years. You said 10 years ago it wasn't popular, and I've been with Latrice for 10 years now. So, you know, I think, you know, while these bans started happening and there began to be so much political discussion around drag over the past year and a half or two, and trans issues and so many other things that are under attack right now, you know, people were starting to sort of turn on Rue and on Drag Race for not using their platform in a specific enough way for some folks. And I do understand how we want our leaders or celebrities to speak in a way that represents us. But sometimes I think we forget that, like, the very fact that RuPaul is on TV every Friday night is her using her voice and using her platform. I don't know if we would be having the same kinds of discussions. So yeah, I think Drag Race has been a catalyst for change, and with any change comes a backlash. And so it is part of the fight, I think. It is also a commercial entity, and it is business. And no business or individual is without fault or above criticism. But I really do think that they do their best to show artists in their best light.
Yeah, I mean, this is like why I initially clicked on this like article to begin with that I said, because I was like, wait, representation? And then I would, you know, it's like, okay, we have all these discussions about like, why did it take until season 13 for us to get like trans people on the show? And it's like, we didn't get a trans woman until like 14. And it's like, we didn't get like a cis woman until UK season whatever. You know, it's like all these other things and these kinds of playing into the characters of like the angry black woman and like all these other things. It's like, wow, we're not really getting the representation that we want. But I think I am kind of in what you were trying to get at. It's like we do need to understand that we literally wouldn't even be having this conversation about like who's being represented on TV if we didn't have all the foundation before it. I mean, my partner says it all the time. He's like, hey, I mean, RuPaul's on like Old Navy commercials now. Yes, capitalism, blah, 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 blah. But like the fact that she's like in a name brand commercial is huge. You know what I mean? For like everybody. So it
has been for 30 years. I mean, she was the face of MAC for so long as well. And
for the makeup campaign. Yeah. Did you know that if you buy one of those lipsticks, 100% of the donation goes
to fracking?
Alrighty then. She was quick with that one, wasn't she?
I'm not trying to get on her show.
He's like, I'm auditioning for Dragula. I'm not auditioning for Drag Race.
Right.
I think you both bring up great points. She hasn't been perfect. There's a lot of criticism about RuPaul. But I do like that she has grown on her stances, that the show has grown, that she like really listens to feedback. And at the end of the day, I don't think any single person or entity is going to be 100% perfect.
Yeah.
And I think the beauty of RuPaul is that even if RuPaul isn't exactly what you want her to be, every year she's giving like 12 to 16 girls their own platform to give you your own, whatever their brand of queer representation is. So you don't only see RuPaul's, but you just see everyone else's. And then the conversations that they're having in the workroom and Untucked to just highlight different aspects of our community. I was super surprised to see that they were talking about Folsom one year.
Yeah, that was
And
last
talking
year. No,
about, like-
14. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about like the history of Folsom, talking about the history of Stonewall, talking about the Compton's cafeteria riots.
Yeah. So it is, those discussions are important. It's probably, I think that it's maybe like not moving fast enough for some people, but maybe I always say it's like maybe not too much too fast, so I should eat my own medicine.
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't know. I would like to see all the things, the progressive things that are happening on the international franchises start happening. On Flagship.
That's the thing I don't understand. It's like, why are we getting cis women in other franchises? Why are we getting like drag kings on
Theater
stage?
yes.
Like on other franchises, why not the U.S.? But I don't know. And it's hard to know because it's like we have all this conversation. We don't know what's going on in the room. Like we don't know, like maybe they really are trying.
I've been in the room and I still have no idea what's going on.
Well, like,
you know what I mean?
My ultimate conclusion is like I can't blame Randy and Fenton for like what is going on with the representation because they're not the casting people. You know what I mean? It's like they run this company that produces this show. They're not the people who are casting this show to bring the representation. So it's not their fault, but you know, who knows what conversations they're having.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Not I.
Not I. Well, at least we didn't get you in trouble with saying anything bad. You said all the great things.
I don't think there's much trouble. You can get me in. I guess you could, but I'm going to try not to.
Tell us what you hate about World of Wonder.
The show continues to grow in those ways as well. I think that where it goes wrong sometimes is that they don't always give the contestants an opportunity to do what they're great at. Sometimes they force an artist into a situation that doesn't really work for them.
Yeah.
And so I think there's ways that they can create challenges and opportunities to let the girls do what they're good at, and instead of, like you said, playing into some dumb, angry black woman sketch.
Yeah.
You know, that's entertaining, but we've seen it for a few years now. So,
Yeah.
I think there are other ways that we can explore people's artistry.
Yeah. Oh, so I think the overall net positive. And congratulations on your thing.
And don't fuck it up.
And don't fuck it.
Oh, side note, but we've talked about this before. They should bring back celebrity deathmatch, but with all the drag queens.
Oh my God, yes.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Oh my God. But
Wait,
like
animated or real life?
Yes.
Okay, but I mean, Latrice's season, they did the freaking wrestling match one, which like I'm sure it was a mess, and I'm sure it was a mess on like the set that day or whatever. But it's like, let's bring celebrity deathmatch like that. But I'm okay with it being animated or claymation. Could you imagine Latrice in a claymation and she's like, like, and then they just like blow each other up.
but only if they pay the girls.
Oh yeah, obviously only if they pay the girls. Obviously.
So you guys are in charge of copywriting that idea, right?
Yes. We're gonna do it. Well, let's get into our main topic today, which is focusing all on Christopher Hamblin.
I'll try to focus.
I have never even heard this story. How do you guys know each other?
We know each other.
Well, I knew who Blue was before I met him.
You saw some images.
Certain proclivities are aware of the Eau du Bailey, you know.
I can smell her from here.
Trying not to fangirl a little bit when we did meet, but I met him through Pup Amp.
Oh, nice.
Heard of her.
Coincidentally, I had followed Amp for a while, and he was living in Seattle, Washington at the time. And by pure coincidence, was at the bar the night that I got proposed to on stage at our place. So that's how I knew Amp, and we became friends that night. And then I started hanging out with him in San Francisco. Whenever I would be in town, I started getting to know Stefan because they were attached at the hip for a lot of what I can tell. And so, yeah, we had a lot in common, and we started kicking it. That's my best recollection.
Which is your favorite Blue Bailey original? Is it Blue Bailey Stole Christmas? What is the one?
It was Ho 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 Christmas.
Ho 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 Christmas.
They took it's a compilation video, and I love it because they basically just Photoshop a Santa hat on me getting fucked and call it Blue Bailey's Ho 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 Christmas.
Well, I mean, there's I don't remember the name of the film, but I remember the gangbang very clearly. Because Logan Stevens lets you have it.
That one. He's so handsome. But when we were first started to hang out, we had a cute little like movie day in his hotel room, and we watched not Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Oh, nice.
The super gay one.
It's true.
It's super. It's written by like oh my god, I'm forgetting all the backstory. It had like the first gay like scream queen, guy scream queen. Ooh. The writer was gay. Mark Patton, yes. There's literally a line that's like, I can feel him inside me.
Oh my god!
Oh yes. There's a scene. Yes, so like he falls asleep, and a lot of his fantasies like are in gay leather bars.
No,
and then his coach is killed by getting bound in a locker room shower and like whipped to death with a towel. You see a lot of bare ass. A lot of crop
if you
tops.
watch the behind the interviews later, they swear they didn't know they were making a homo.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Whips and chains. It's like Rihanna.
There's a whole documentary called Scream Queen that's just about the making of it.
Wow.
And actually how it ruined his career because of it.
Wow.
Yeah, like he like never started anything again.
My partner's like he never knew that gays were like into horror, and he thought he was just kind of like alone and like whatever, and then he finally met Steph and he's like, oh, look at all these people who love horror movies. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I saw you just had Peaches Christ, and that's one of my other fascinations with San Francisco. I live in Florida, but my heart is there with you all. I really do love it, and it is another home to me. I feel like there's an alternate universe where I'm just kind of there.
Are you gonna come visit for the Terror Vault?
Oh yeah, for Peaches Terror Vault.
Peaches, what?
Are you gonna come visit for the?
Yes, I did see that. I would. Yes, I'm like she. We also got to work with her, Latrice. She wrote a parody of Sister Act for Latrice called Mr. Act.
Yes.
So we got to come and do that in San Francisco and tour it with her. So
God, I love her. She's so great. Well, tell us how you met. I mean, give us a story. I did watch so many interviews about you and like Latrice. It's even the one that's Out Magazine. Y'all were like getting undressed for it.
Oh yeah.
So I know the story, but please tell our listeners how you met Latrice for the first time and how y'all got started 10 years ago.
Well, I went to Latrice's show in Knoxville, Tennessee, like any other fan, except I'm not your average fan. I have a history in performance and had lived in New York City and been around a lot of people in show business and a lot of people more famous than me. So, but I didn't really succeed in New York. I'd moved back to Knoxville, and I went to the show to see Latrice. I was the conductor of the gay men's chorus there, and I was working at the Metropolitan Community Church there as their minister of music.
Oh, girl, we have such a common history. I used to be a church choir director too, believe it or not.
Oh, really? Well,
yes.
And here we are.
Living Christ Lutheran Church.
Until she got kicked out.
No, it was very lovely.
Was it?
Yeah, my boyfriend was like the office manager too, so it was like a big old like gay church. Yeah, it was great.
So Latrice came through to the local bar in Knoxville, and I went to the show. But this was very early. This was, I think, the second or third time they had ever had a girl from RuPaul's Drag Race. This was December of 2012. I think they had Kenya Michaels, but they didn't promote it almost at all. And I think they had Willem and Pandora together for Pride, which, okay. And then Latrice was pretty well advertised for that December. And so I had gotten tickets and gone, but they scheduled the meet and greet between her two performances, which just makes no sense.
Yeah.
Because you've got a sweaty drag queen trying to take pictures and then rushing her back to get ready. She doesn't get to pee or smoke or anything, right? So I offered to start helping the meet and greet. My friend Zena was the show director there at the time. And she's passed away now. We miss her very much. But I said, girl, like, do you need some help? She was looking very over it. And so I intervened and started running the meet and greet. And 11 years later, almost, here I still am doing it. Latrice
she caught your eye.
was flirting like any drag queen does. I wasn't paying it that much attention. It didn't really occur to me to take it seriously, but I did know I wanted to have like a moment with her and get to know her because I've been very inspired by her work on the show, and I wanted Knoxville to be well represented. So we met up after the show. She invited me back to the hotel room, but she stayed behind and was smoking weed with Xena. And I was just like sitting outside the hotel waiting for like an hour for her to get there. And then when she did show up, she was like, he's here. And so then she got in the shower and like got out fully of drag and was sort of awkward and embarrassed about it. But I said, I've already seen you on TV. I know what all this looks like. So it's cool. Take your time.
Take it out.
And we literally stayed up all night chatting, and I had to be at work the next morning because it was Saturday, and I had to be at choir practice at 8 a.m. And I didn't leave the hotel till about 5 or 5:30, and she was texting me before I made it home.
All worth it.
And it was very immediate. I don't know how to explain it still, really, but whatever we saw in each other, we agreed pretty quickly on.
Wow. And then you ended up getting married in 2018, 2019?
We just celebrated 5 years. 2018, September 29th, we've been married for 5 years now. We kind of accidentally blocked DragCon New York that year because they moved it to the same day as our wedding, but like
that's their fault.
Manila, Bianca, Shangela, Jasmine Masters, like all the girls were at our wedding.
So wait, did you just get married at DragCon?
No, we'll leave that for Ginger and CJ. They just do that. But we wanted a real. We made everybody put their cameras away.
Yeah.
We had offers to like produce the wedding or have footage, but we didn't have the right offer that made it any sense. And frankly, I don't like need to be famous, especially not for my relationship. I really wanted both of us to feel like grounded in what we were doing and not like we were doing something for the camera.
It's for you guys. For you.
Yeah, so like we give up a lot of our personal information and anonymity for the cause. So
I mean, I have to say, what year was the engagement? Did that happen?
Sorry, I'm bad at math.
No, it's
okay. It was the year that Pulse Orlando happened.
Okay, so it's 20.
So maybe that was 2016
or 17. Yeah.
I apologize for I have a little bit of I don't like to commemorate occasions like that for myself.
It's okay. I smoke a lot of weed too. It's fine. Okay.
So I block out those dates. I'm sorry. I really don't mean to be disrespectful to the memory.
I was gonna say, like, you know, I was talking before about it's like just 10 years ago it was like so like people didn't want to date drag queens or anything like that. So honestly, it really did mean a lot for me to see like your proposal and to see that kind of go around, and especially because it was Latrice proposing to you. Like it's this whole like, you know what I mean? Like I loved it so much, and it was, I think that must have been right around the time that Obergefell happened, like 2016, 2017. It was like such an exciting time. So it really meant a lot to like see that. So it's cool that you had put that out there and that's like still there.
Yeah, I was glad to get to share it. It was a wild experience. I really did feel like Princess Diana there for a minute. Like it went so far so fast, and I feel like Latrice has amazing timing in life and on stage, and I just felt like right at that moment that our community needed some good news, and somehow or another we became it. We were not in a great place, and we didn't even know how much worse it was going to get yet.
God,
those were the good old days.
Those were the good old days.
They were, right. We were just getting shot at then, you know.
Just in nightclubs, just getting shot at.
Yeah, I mean, now, geez. Sorry for my dark humor, but...
No, we love it. We love it. All right.
So, yeah, here we are.
You and Latrice are partners in life. You're romantic partners, but you're also business partners. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? How it went from helping with merchandise to just going around traveling everywhere doing the most?
Yeah, I've said for years that I put the ass in assistant.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it was a pretty kind of organic building of our relationship to work together because of the way that I had intervened with the meet and greet. Like, because I do have a background in show business and an interest in it. And because I had spent a lot of time with drag queens, it came pretty naturally for us to collaborate. So after we met that December, I moved to be with Latrice in Florida that following September, like not a full pregnancy later. We gave it 9 months, and then
who impregnated who?
And well, we'll leave that to the imagination. Y'all can figure that out. But I completely lost my train of thought. You threw me with the breeding.
I didn't say breeding. You did.
Well, somebody got
like how
pregnant.
you guys
They got
started
pregnant,
getting together. Like how you started working together. Yeah.
Yeah. At that time, Latrice was working with a manager that she had helped develop a company with, and I was working for that company. I initially, Latrice did not want to be my immediate supervisor because of our romantic relationship. She didn't want a conflict. But the other manager really didn't work out in the end. So at that time, I was actually a booking the girls. We represented a whole lot of girls. We represented LaShawn Beyond. We represented Kennedy Davenport, Mrs. Kasha Davis, Jaden Dior Fierce, Tempest du Jour. Like, we've worked with a lot of different Jasmine Masters.
So this is the management agency.
Chevelle Brooks. So I was the guy that you would contact to see if they were available at times. I would also sometimes be the person on the road with Latrice selling T-shirts or what have you. Eventually, I've done a little bit of all of those things.
What's the name of the management company?
So when I first came on board, there was All Star Management, and like I said, that did not work out. And when we realized it wasn't going to work out anymore, Latrice very quickly got on the phone with her entertainment lawyer, who actually represents the Kinsey Six.
Sweet.
To circle around to San Francisco again. And within a week, we had formed Latrice Royale Incorporated, or LRI, Talent and Management. And that is when I was assigned the position of executive personal assistant. And at that time, I was still a talent representative. I fired myself as a talent representative. The busier that we got with Latrice's career, the harder I found it to really give my full self to everybody else and the attention that they needed. So I really moved to focus exclusively on Latrice.
And is LRI still happening? No.
Yes, very much so. We do not have as many clients as we used to, and that's very much by design. During the pandemic, it really just became, whatever you could make happen for yourself, make happen for yourself, please. And obviously, with Latrice at the helm of the company, if the star of the show isn't working, then nobody else really is either. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So we worked with Bitch Puddin' for a long time, and we still are very friendly with her.
Digital drag.
But she was such an innovator during the pandemic and showed us how to create business in a different kind of way. And I was so grateful for leaders like her that were younger than us that knew how to use apps that we had never heard of and things. We really had to completely change how we do business at that time. And with no touring going on, there was no reason to reach out to a third party. A lot of individuals started really representing themselves, which is sort of the philosophy behind Latrice's management style and what we do as a company. We really do believe in ownership of your shit. Whatever, if it's your name, if it's your song, if it's your idea, you should own that. And other entertainers prefer to work with a management company that takes care of more for them in advance or in different kinds of ways. But Latrice is very hands-on and wants to be involved in every choice. So that's our model, and we encourage all our clients to operate as such with our assistants. Do you know what I mean? It's not, especially as a drag artist, I can't tell you what kind of drag to create. I'm not in charge of making your concept happen, you know, like I want to see what you have and I can help make that happen as a manager or a producer or a whatever. But if you don't have the ideas, then we can't,
of course,
really help you, you know, get booked.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about management, both like in terms of how you deal with management with like other people like that, with the queens, and how you deal with your relationship with Latrice. In one interview I saw you said you are married to one and then you work for the other.
I kind of joke about that, but it is kind of true as well. You know, I'm married to Tim Wilcott, who does not identify as trans necessarily. I think he sort of functions as non-binary because most of the world sees Latrice first. So that's a very real entity that I deal with. But I also know that she is not real at a certain level. You know what I'm saying? So
it's a
Latrice definitely is more demanding than Tim, and rightfully so. She has an international career with millions of people watching her moves. And so she takes that platform very seriously and encourages me as her husband and assistant and all the things that I am to live up to that level, you know? So I try.
So when you're booking these girls, when you're working with Peaches, when you're going on tour, what are the typical kind of like contracts and paperwork that come up that you have to deal with?
Well, when we first started working together, almost every standard contract through our company was 50% deposit up front and then 50% due before she goes on stage, right?
Okay.
And then all of the travel, lodging, ground transportation, and everything like that would be up to the promoter. As there were other kinds of deals that other management companies were having and that other promoters or producers wanted to work, which would refer to as all-inclusive, meaning we'll pay you a lump sum that is more than your salary, and then you take care of
all the travel and
all
stuff.
of the rest.
Yeah.
You get yourself here, you put yourself up. However you want to go about that, you can. We didn't, that was not Latrice's business practice for a long time. As things progress, more and more companies want to do business that way. And so we have definitely adjusted to, you know, continue doing business, right?
And is that, do you think because of their costs, it's cheaper to kind of just like throw a lump sum at you rather than like pay like
well, sometimes, especially like, for instance, if you're like a diversity program at a university, you might not have like a travel department or somebody to handle that. You're probably going to an instructor or an administrator to get something approved, and you can get a check written to somebody, but more than that is hard to manage. So we do have actually within LRI, I'm the assistant. We have a business manager, Mike DeFoya, and we have a travel department run by Nikki Savetti.
Love it.
So basically, for the entire time I've worked with Latrice, almost every flight that she has gotten on has been booked by Nikki, and her hands are in that almost on a daily basis. And that company also then books a lot of girls that you know and their travel. Nikki works very closely with Say What Entertainment and Alyssa Edwards and Voss Events, and make sure the girls get where they're going. And so even though Latrice and I might not see that every day, we're also the person that hears about it if something goes wrong or somebody needs some help and Nikki isn't available. So
I have a question about that, and you may not be able to answer, but we've read some of the newer Drag Race contracts, and if you're a new girl, you have to use World of Wonders, like management companies like that. As an established queen, like coming back to All Stars and doing other projects for HBO, has there been any pushback on using your own management company, or are you?
Well, HBO is a completely different setup. I think everybody knows that we just got back from filming season 4.
Now
spoiler alert.
Not spoiler alert at all.
Season 4 of We're Here.
Yes, well, they're there and we're here.
Yeah.
And HBO really was a dream to work with in terms of hiring me actually independently as well.
Oh, wow.
Not just as
Cool.
a lumped in with Latrice. They really took the girls' needs into consideration and recognized us as an entity. And most of the work that Latrice has gotten post-pandemic has been like that. They very much see the company as the real entity that it is.
Wow.
RuPaul's Drag Race is just a little bit different, and to be fully transparent, it's been a while since I have seen a new contract and what that looks like. However, it would take some serious negotiations and conversations for Latrice to be fully represented by any other management company.
Obviously,
The team that she has built, I feel like we have modeled how other management companies have
agree.
done business. We are the blueprint. Like, you know, when I meet a 23-year-old now that asks me if I know how to sell a T-shirt, I'm like,
Let me tell you.
girl. I kind of.
So for each of these gigs,
I think that the girls do have some management requirements. I'm not exactly clear on what those are, and I think sometimes that works for them, and sometimes it works against them. Not everybody vibes with everybody. You know what I mean? Everybody has a different approach to their artistry and to their business. So sometimes, you know, that works. That's a good fit, and sometimes it's not.
So for each of these gigs that we have, are you sending out a contract from LRI to like this like gig that they're doing and being like, okay, here's our
sometimes
Okay.
sometimes contracts do come from LRI. Those always go through Mike Tafoya. We do keep a separate. I don't like to be the guy signing everything. We like.
I love to sign.
We have a bag cop. You know what I mean?
Give me the DocuSign, bitch. I love a good DocuSign.
Still like deal with it. You know, Mike can just sit in Vegas and ignore everybody if he wants to. But so yeah, sometimes the contract will come from LRI, but then there are also times when you get, you know, a gig from HBO, for instance, that is a larger entity and they have a contract with a team in place that we choose to respect and honor that. You know, if an organization or entity feels prepared to present us a contract that's thorough enough and we feel comfortable signing, then we can do that.
Awesome. Oh, you looked at me like you had a question.
No,
I was like, yeah, your
I was just
turn.
all about
You
it.
looked at me like you were. Well, I want to hear some more about you. You've talked about how you have a background in performance, and you were like trying to make it in New York, that type of thing. I know you have some gigs coming up in December. I think it's like Why It Gotta Be White Christmas. Is this right? Yeah.
Why it gotta be White Christmas? We have been asking this for years. Nobody's answered me yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, when I did choose to move to Florida and be with Latrice professionally and personally, I really thought that I was retiring as a performer and that part of myself. I really thought that this was my chance to like hide in the corner and nobody was going to notice. And then one day we were in the house when we lived in Hollywood, Florida, and I was playing Summertime from Porgy and Bess. And Latrice came in with this like really bad version. Right? Just being stupid. And I said, babe, if you would stop being stupid for like 5 minutes, you actually have a lovely voice, and I would love to see what we can make happen. And after some like really awkward first coachings, and we found that he did have a voice, and we started creating a show called Here's to Life. And that was basically Latrice's autobiography on stage.
Wow.
And we started telling her story from growing up in Compton all the way up to RuPaul's Drag Race. And the original version of the show, we actually helped, we were helped with that by Mimi I'm First.
Yay.
Braden Chapman was really, really helpful in helping us develop that show. He saw an early version that we did of it on a cruise ship, And Rick
Wow.
came to Florida then to help us develop it. And some of the pieces of the show that we built then, we still actually do today. And it's been about 8 years now. So Here's to Life we did in New York City at the Laurie Beachman Theater. We did it in San Francisco with Peaches. We did it in Seattle. We toured it all over the UK. And then eventually, Here's to Life became Life Goes On, which is the national tour that we just did earlier this year. Latrice and I did 31 cities in 2 months.
Damn.
Yeah. You're busy.
That's every other day.
Literally 3 to 5 a week.
Jesus Christ.
And I did serve as music director. So now my role has changed significantly because I don't feel as honestly at ease outside at the merch table anymore, for instance, because people kind of recognize me and feel more familiar with me. It's a little harder for me to just like dart through the club and get business done like I used to be able to do. So, and now, especially that I am actually on stage with Latrice, I have those responsibilities as well. So we've kind of learned that we have to have yet another person with us on the road a lot of times now. Especially this coming Christmas, we have 6 or 8 different shows. We're doing Provincetown, we're doing Oxnard, California, and 4 or 5 other cities. So getting to perform with Latrice is just something beyond what I ever thought when we met. Like
That's so
never
cool.
really thought, because she wasn't singing live, she wasn't trying to be a cabaret artist. That wasn't what she was doing. But then we started working with people like Jinx Monsoon and Alaska, who are such craftsmen at what they do. They know how to build a show and tell a story and hold an audience. And Latrice was really inspired by that. And I think rightfully felt like she should have a theater full of people listening to her story, just like Bianca Del Rio or Bob the Drag Queen or anybody else, you know? So that's what we've been working on.
That's more credit to you. It's like you're bringing your love and skills to this partnership in so many ways. So that's awesome.
And it's such an amazing show. I got to see it in San Francisco and in Palm Springs.
Amazing.
And it was the perfect way to like end Palm Springs Pride, because everyone's like, you've done all your partying. It was nice to just sit down and have a dinner show and get some good theater from it.
What I want to know real quick, you've been traveling so much. What's like one thing that you have, like the hotel packing travel tip that we can take from you?
Oh, okay. Well, for you in particular.
Okay, I'll take it.
Hard shell suitcases.
Hard shell, yes. I have only hard shell. Yes,
that's the only way to travel with hair.
Yes.
Like, it's the only way that you can really make sure that your hair lands in LA the way it left in Florida.
How are you packing the hair though? This is the thing I need to know for Continental.
So
it's like
you want to wrap it in like a plastic
bag, trash bag,
cover it somehow, and then make sure you don't pack anything heavy in that suitcase. Like if you put your makeup kit in there with it, then it's just going to fall on top of your wig and crush it.
When we went to Continental, literally the whole bag was hair. Like just the giant bag was just hair.
Hair in boxes.
One of Latrice's bags is just like one half is her hips. And then the other half is like makeup and those supplies. That's one full suitcase. So before we've even packed a thing to wear for the daytime or any drag.
Oh, you don't need to wear anything in the daytime. Just be naked. Just be naked.
That the other big recommendation, and I just don't know why people don't realize this. Get a spinner. You want 4 wheels. You don't need a cart at the airport. Not like we can carry up to 4 suitcases at a time.
Yes, if you just roll. Yes,
if we need to, because sometimes you just don't have time to wait, and that is the biggest change for me. Learning to travel with Latrice.
For sure,
you want 4 wheels on your suitcase.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, this has been great having you here today.
Yes.
It's so good to see you.
Well, I appreciate you asking me so much. Blue, you know how much I adore you and how much I've been cheering you on. and how much I loved your book and
thank you.
all the things. I could just sing your praises. So I'm so happy to be included in this, and
I'm here
so
too,
proud
so-
of everything that y'all are doing.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
I'm like, I'm here too, but it's fine. I'm just kidding.
Sorry, Dexter. We have time to grow our relationship together. I look forward.
Write a book,
many more
Dexter, and come
movies.
back.
Wow. At least I know how to read.
Wow.
You went to the wrong airport
It's
this morning.
fundamental. It's fundamental.
I did. That's true.
Thank you so much for coming here. It's so wonderful to have a great conversation with you.
I think Cole Porter might be Billy Porter's drag mom.
That's it. That's
I
it.
think that's the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with us, and thank you for listening to another episode of Reading is Fundamental. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Because reading is what?
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Reading is Fundamental.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so we can keep bringing you the show for free. As a reminder, Reading is Fundamental is brought to you by Fleshbot.com, the leading resource for gay erotica.
DM us with your comments, questions, and let us know what you want to hear.
Or you can email us at readingisfundamentalpodcast@gmail.com.
Until next time,
Remember to read your damn contracts. Why?
because reading is what?
Fundamental.
Fundamental.